in this lesson, it's in Chapter 6, Lesson 5, we're talking about properties. There are 4 properties we're going to be talking about, but only 3 in this lesson. So we're first going to go down the left side and determine what these properties are. The commutated property is the order in which 2 numbers are added or multiplied. So added or multiplied does not change the sum or product. So 2 examples of this would be 7 plus 9 is the same thing as 9 plus 7. And 4 times 6 is the same thing as 6 times 4. And we all knew that. We might not have realized what it was called before, but we all knew that was the case. Our next one's associative property. The way in which 3 numbers are grouped when they are added or multiplied does not change their sum or product. So some examples of that means that we're going to be using parentheses. So I have 3 plus 9, and then in parentheses 9 plus 4. It would be the same thing if I have the same numbers and I just move the parentheses, I'll have the same answer. I can do that with multiplication also. So if I have 8 times and then 5 times 7 in parentheses, if I change where my parentheses are, I'm going to get the same answer. And then identity property, I think this one's the easiest. So the sum of an and 0 is the addend. The product of a factor and 1 is the factor. So that means that 13 plus 0 is 13, and 7 times 1 is 7. So we're going to use this information that we learned over here, and we're going to make up some problems and put them here. So our directions are determine if the 2 expressions are equivalent, and if so, tell what property. If not, explain why. So the first thing I'm going to get is 15 plus 5 plus 8 in parentheses, and 15 plus 5 plus 8. Because there are 3 numbers and there are parentheses, we're going to look at the associative property. To be able to be the associative property, it either has to be multiplication or addition, which it is, and they have to be the same numbers, which they are. So this is equivalent. I'm going to put the equal sign. And the property is associative, so we're going to write associative property.
Good morning, everybody. Math tutoring is beginning in room 219 right now, so if you need math tutoring, go to room 219.
Okay, our next one is going to be 20 minus 12 minus 3 and 20 minus 12 minus 3. Okay. If you haven't checked out the bottom of the paper yet, it says properties only work with addition and multiplication, not division and subtraction. This is subtraction, so automatically we know this is not equivalent. And that is a not equivalent sign. It's the equal sign with a slash through it. And because subtraction, that's why it does not work. Our next problem is going to be 34 plus 0 and 0. Not 0, sorry. 34. These are equivalent because they're both equal 34, so they're equal. And the property that states that, if we look down here, it lines up with the identity property, so we're going to write identity property. The next problem we're going to look at is 20 divided by 5 and 5 divided by 20. If you remember at the bottom of the paper, it says it does not work with division. So this does not work. So we're going to write not equivalent division. Our next one is 5 times, and then in parentheses 6 times 3, and in parentheses 5 times 6, and then times 3. Multiplication. They're the same numbers, and there's 3 different numbers. So this is equal and associative. Our next one we have is 27 divided by 3 and 3 divided by 27. Right away we looked at the operation. It's division, so we know that is not equivalent. So we're going to write not equivalent and division. Our last one we're going to do is 12 plus 3 and 3 plus 12. Do you notice it's addition, so it has to be some sort of property. That's 12 plus 3 and 3 plus 12. If we look over at commutative property, that will tell us that that's what it is. So it's equal, and you're going to write the property name. And that's all there is to it.